Hi Chewies, here's Alexandra again, and welcome to another painting tutorial. Today we will tackle this marine here, and as you can see, this is a marine from the Dark Vengeance set, and I have carefully scraped off the Dark Angel symbol of this shoulder pad. So, what we are going to do today is to paint a Mantis warrior. Yesterday I showed you this little fella here with 3 other space marines of my bad company. This was nearly a test marine, and so today we will paint a Mantis warrior, like I said. So first things first, I will prime this miniature now with a spray primer from Army Painter, to be exact, uniform gray. I get often the question why I use this primer instead of black or white. The answer is quite simple. Gray is a universal primer. It is not too dark and not too bright. Almost every color covers perfectly over a gray primer, and it doesn't disturb the paint job at all. And so I highly recommend using gray spray primer instead of white or black. So that doesn't mean that black or white primer don't have their uses. For example, if you paint metal miniatures, black primer is appropriate, or if you want to paint yellow marines or white ones, or even other very bright colors, white spray primer is also a valuable option. So the main colors for painting this guy will be Caliban green and mood green. So there's a lot of mixing involved, and to make things easier, I pre-mixed some colors. Here you can see the ratios. This is a mixture of Caliban green and mood green in a 1:1 mix, and here we have mood green and Caliban green in a 2:1 mix. So for those of you that have the old colors, this here is well, maybe snot green, and this here is a mixture of snot green and the old scorpion green, which is now mood green. So these colors are essential if you want to paint brighter green tones, and if you want to make an army out of this, then I highly recommend to mix up your own colors. Just use an empty paint pot, label them correctly, and mix the colors up. So I'll be back when the miniature is primed, and yeah, until then. So here we have him primed. You can clearly see that on the base here. It's not black anymore. Isn't it fantastic? So now we use our fantastic miniature holder here with some sticky tape on top. Just place it on, and you're ready to paint him. So first things first, we will cover him now with our first layer of Caliban green mood green mix. So just take your trusty palette, put some paint on, and we are ready to rock. So just take your standard base coat brush, your all-purpose painting brush, and then paint it on. So go over the parts several times so that the details are not obscured by 2 thick layers of paint, and then you will paint almost the entire miniature with this color. I say almost because we leave the shoulder pads and the backpack out, because they get a different color. So I will finish up the paint job and be right back. Okie dokie. So he looks now after the first treatment, and next step will be Abaddon Black for the backpack and the bolter. So a little bit on the palette like usual, and then just simply paint it on like before, and try not to hit the green parts. So, and like before, I'll be back when this is done. Okay, dearies, as you can see, the boater and the backpack are nicely covered in black, and now it's time for a wash. We will mix up our own wash now out of Athonian Camo Shade and Null Oil. So, we will mix up, I would say 4 drops of the green wash. Okay. With 1 drop of the black wash. Swoop. Mix it up. And then we will cover all the green areas with this wash. This will give us now nice shadows. If we would have taken a pure black wash, that would be too dark for a bright green marine that we intend to paint. But with this mixture, we're good to go. Don't be shy with the amount of wash, because if you do, you just get a little shade on the upper parts, but no pools in the shadow areas, in the recesses. And exactly that is what we want to have. We want to have nice shadows in the recesses. So, and to get rid of those splotches on the main areas, just wash your brush and then simply go over the main areas like that. So, just like that. Make sure everything is covered. Yep, and then leave that to dry. Allons-y. And there we are back. So does it look now after the wash is dry? Strange thing about the new GW washes is that sometimes here you can see that right above the hand, or here, for example, at the knee, that this new washes from GW, well, make a whitish appearance in the recesses. So to fight that after it is dry, you simply hit those areas again with a little bit of wash and let that dry again. And after that is done, I'll be back. So now it's time to go on painting. We use again our Caliban Motor Green Mix 101. Now we will liquefy it a little bit with 1 or 2 drops of water, depending on your painting style. Make sure when you're washing out your brushes to keep them safe in this way. Never try to make this will hurt the bristles. Just simply stroke it over a paper towel, and this is fine. Also make sure that no water is left here on the metal. Nothing is worse than when you paint and a water drop is collecting here, and all of a sudden, bloop, it will flood your miniature with water and everything is ruined. So, in order to pick up the paint properly, don't make this. You see, you don't have a proper tip. Make strokes like that, turn your brush a little bit, and then your brush is perfectly loaded. Also, you can adjust the amount of paint a little bit on a paper towel if you have too much on the bristles, so you can maintain good control over your painting. And now we simply paint on the color again, and we leave a little bit room between the new color and the recesses. Just like that. There's nothing hard about it. Also here on the knee pad, make a little crescent moon shape at the bottom. So you have darker paint underneath. Don't worry if the paint doesn't cover 100%, we will go over the miniature several times with other layers of paint. So most important is that the paint layers are not too thick, so you don't obscure any details. So I will finish up the paint job and be right back. Okie dokie, now he's nice and green again. So, and the next layer will be from our 2-to-1 mixture out of mood green and Caliban green. Just pour some on your palette, like before. Also a little bit of water in it. And then we will start to highlight. Remember that color always is a little bit brighter when it is wet. So keep that in mind and know how the color will end when it is dry. Don't make a uniform line, make it a little bit uneven. That will help to fade the transition between the colors. So you see, this is already dried yet. And with that method, we will highlight the entire model. Always keep a little bit of the other color behind, so we get a nice transition. So, also here on the knee pad, again with a little crescent moon shape down to the bottom. And try to pick up the high spots of the miniature. So, and if you want to paint salamanders, then this would be the end point for the highlights. You could probably start with a darker color when you want to paint salamanders instead. Just make it, for example, a 2-to-1 mixture out of 2 parts Caliban green and 1 part mood green. That would be appropriate starting point for a salamander. But now we are painting here a Mantis warrior, and so it needs to be brighter. Okay, I will finish up that job and be right back. Geronimo! Here we go, Chewies. This is the next step, followed by pure mood green. Well, not absolutely pure. We will water it down quite a bit. So, take some on your palette. And then adding water to it. And even more water. Yeah, that's the consistency we're looking for. So, putting that aside. And with that quite liquidy, we will now highlight even more. Just paint with the tip of the brush and always remove this this spots here. We want a nice color transition, and for that this liquid form is a good thing. You can adjust the amount of paint on a paper towel, and with that you can then paint even better. It might take some strokes until you receive a proper change in the color, but in the end it is worth it. This liquid color will provide a much better transition, but if you don't, if you're not able to work with such liquid color, then, well, give it a shot of 1 drop more color into the liquid one again to make it a little bit more smooth again. You can switch back and forth however you want between liquid and non-so-liquid. And remember, it will darken a little bit when the color is dry. Over time you will know how color look like when it is dry. This is just an experience thing. So, I will finish up the job and be right back. Okie dokie, here we go. The armor highlights are done now, And now we will go for some yellow with Violet Sunset. With that we will now paint the shoulder pads and the respirator part of the helmet. Very simple task and easy to accomplish. And I'll be back when I have put on a second layer so that it is rightly covering. Be right back. Okie doke, as you can see the yellow is applied, and now we will quickly highlight that with some Flash Kids yellow. Just put some on your palette, a tiny little bit of water in it, and with that we will now paint the surface. So this layer needs to be dry, and after that we will perform a little bit of wet blending, because if you want to paint yellow right, you need to make it right, that it looks good in the end. What we have done here is simply a kind of base coat, if you want to call it like that. Okie doke. Be right back when it is dry. So let's go for some wet blending, shall we? We need to mix now a ground color with Monfeng Brown. A little bit, not too much. A little bit of Flash Kids yellow. And also a little bit of Violet Sunset. So this we will mix up. Also one tiny drop of miniature drying retarder. That might be a little bit too much. Just peek a little bit. Yeah, that should be enough. So, with that, we'll paint now over the shoulder pad. A little bit more at the bottom. And then quickly wash out the brush, and we'll take our Flash Kids yellow in pure form, and with that we will then make quick strokes, removing the main portion of the color now from the brush, and now we will stroke down slightly, slightly, slightly. And what happens there is the tip of the brush will pick up the color underneath and well, mix directly on the shoulder pad. Okay. This was now our first layer. We will add a little bit more of the dark color to the bottom. Now again some yellow on the top, and we will again work downwards. Work a little bit on the sides. A little bit more dark here. Simply you're mixing the color directly on the shoulder pad where you need it to be. Of course, yellow is a difficult color to perform this kind of action here. You can also do this with different colors, of course. Just take the general idea here and perform it with different colors. And I think we're almost there. What do we want to achieve? Okay, I think that's good. Same here, in a tinier version. Okay, I need a little bit more yellow on my palette. There we go. Working a little bit on the respirator here. Of course, you could do this whole action on the entire miniature, but well, this would be quite time consuming. And in case you want to paint an entire army, this wouldn't be, well, time effective. But of course, in the end, it would look nice. So, the yellow parts are done. And I'll be right back for some other work. In the meantime, I will paint all the metal parts now in lead belcher. And be right back. And there I'm back. Did you miss me? So let me fill out the blanks for you. What I've done so far is I've painted obviously the silver parts, as I've said, and also I've painted here the trims of the shoulder pad with some Caliban green followed by mood green highlights here at the edges. Also I've painted the arrow on the shoulder pad black. Yeah, and obviously I have already sanded the base. And now, a very simple task. We will use Atonian camo shade for the sand. Just pick your brush and fill it in. If you want a different color for your base, then you could also use a brown shade or black, followed by a highlight with some bleached bone if you want the brown bleached bone method, or gray for the black one. So, this needs to dry now, and Also, I'm doing now off camera painting the chest eagle in Mountain Brown. Be right back. Okie dokie. Now it's time to highlight the chest eagle. For that, we will now use Scrag Brown. Just a little bit on the palette. Be sure that is on your brush is not too many paint, and then slightly go over it to highlight the wing parts. Just like that. And after that is done, we will use now Screaming Skull. Mix it in with the brown. Again, not too much color on the brush. And now paint 2/3 of the wing with that. And our final highlight is now pure Screaming Skull. Oh, there's something on the tip. Quickly removing that. So, only the tips of this little wings. And voila, you've got a nicely highlighted chest eagle. You can do that obviously with several different colors. Just use the same method with different colors. Start with a dark one and highlight it with a bright one. Ta-da! So we will now use the same colors that we used on the chest eagle, just for the little parchment here. So and voila, you have a nice purities here. So now we will finish up the purities here real quick. I will use Vallejo Model Color Burnt Cat Ready for base coat. It's a nice dark red tone. If you don't have that color, if you're limited to GW colors, you can also use Mephiston Red, or use Mephiston Red and darken it down with a little bit of brown or black. So, and now to highlight that, we use Evil Sun's Scarlet. Just a tiny bit. Not too much. We just want to paint the edges here. So, and with the same colors, we will now paint quickly the eyes. So let's zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, first you start from behind, see, and you turn the miniature here on the front, and then you turn the miniature upside down, paint the back half, and here again the front half. So, and now with the Evil Sun Scarlet, you paint now the front, again on the other side, just the front, just like that. Then I will use Troll Slayer Orange. Just on the forefront here, like that. I'm turning the miniature upside down here for the reason that the top thing of the helmet here would interfere with my brush if I would try to paint like this from this angle. Always remember you can turn your miniature however you want. So, last finishing touches on the miniature. Yeah, I will paint now the base. So, there. I will use now an old color, Gretchen Green, for that. If you want to have a brown base, obviously you take a skin tone and then bleach bone to dry brush. If you want it to be grayish, then obviously you start with a black surface followed by a gray dry brush and maybe 2 shades. But I will dry brush this in green. So to highlight that, I will just add a tiny little bit of Screaming Skull to the green. Dum-de-dum. Just a little bit. Okie doke. There we go. Now I will paint the edge of the base in black. And then the miniature is done. I hope you like this tutorial of this Mantis warrior. And if you have noticed it, then leave in the comments down below how many Doctor Who references I have put into this video. Of course, I will not fit out this miniature now with a transfer for the Mantis Legion or Mantis Warriors. First reason for that is I don't possess such a transfer, and second one is obviously I will use this miniature on my Bad Company, and for that there's a different transfer sheet. I hope you like this video, and we see us in the next tutorial. Your Alexandra.